Hello, everybody. This is the Love Yourself Guru, and welcome to the Love Yourself TV, and welcome to day 26 of Ramadan 2022 with the Guru. And today's word is forgiveness. We're going to be taking a closer look at forgiveness, God willing, and how to integrate it into the last few days of Ramadan and until next Ramadan and the whole of our lives, God willing. So if you look at the word forgiveness in the dictionary, it says the action or process of forgiving or being forgiven. And if you look at the scientific benefits of forgiveness, there's so many scientific benefits for forgiveness, and I've just mentioned here a few. Research has shown that forgiveness is linked to mental health outcomes such as reduced anxiety, reduced depression, and major psychiatric disorders, fewer physical health symptoms, and lower mortality rates. So this, and it's even good for your heart. There's so many benefits to forgiveness. Now, this is my take on forgiveness. Okay, I may be wrong. This is my take on forgiveness. I see that it's like 3 stages of forgiveness. Okay, like 3 levels of forgiveness. The first level is asking your creator, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you. Okay, for instance, me, this is me. I'm asking Allah, the first level is asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive me for what for the things that I've done that I'm consciously aware of, and the things that I've done when I'm absent-minded. Okay, so the first level is between you and your creator. The second level, stage 2, second level, is forgiving yourself and reflecting on whether anybody needs to forgive you. Okay, and the third level, the third stage, is forgiving others. Now, we often go to straight away to try to work on forgiving others, and that's why I think we find it so difficult. But I find that if you go to stage 1, which is asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you for what you know that you've done and what you don't know that you've done, and you build that relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with your creator, then you can move on to stage 2, and then you reflect on your life, and you reflect if you need to forgive yourself in any way, and if anybody needs to forgive you, and then you move on to stage 3 for people to forgive you. But I believe that if you don't do it in that order, I think it's very difficult. I found it very difficult. So first of all, I had to begin with stage 1, and then stage 2, and then stage 3. That's just my personal opinion. But I always find that if the stage 1, if I've not worked on that, stage 2 is going to be very difficult. And if I've not worked stage 2, stage 3 is very difficult. So this video is all about stage 1, about asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our creator, for forgiveness. And it's Ramadan, and it's day 26, and the last 10 days, the theme of the last 10 days, God willing, God willing, God willing, is really honestly to ask our creator for forgiveness for things that we are aware of and things that we're not aware of, because sometimes we go through life and we make mistakes and we're not even aware that we make mistakes. Honestly, we don't do them consciously, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most forgiving. And if we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in these last 10 days, and we make it a habit to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us, then we live a more conscious life. So let's say, for instance, you have a child and you realize that your child just goes through life making mistakes and never actually reflecting on his or her life. By the time that child is 50 or 60, what will happen is the mistakes will just get bigger and bigger and worse and live a very unconscious life. Wouldn't be very nice, honestly, wouldn't be very nice. But when you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness, every day, you live a more conscious life. It doesn't mean that you don't make mistakes. You do make mistakes, but you're conscious. You're conscious that you could be making mistakes unconsciously, but you're also conscious. So the mistakes that you make, God willing, won't get out of control. They won't be as big as if you lived unconsciously. You're always with your creator, God willing, God willing, God willing, and you're always asking your creator to forgive you. And because of that conscious awareness, you're asking your creator to forgive you. It's almost as if it helps you to stay on the straight path. because you're aware that you're a human being and mistakes are inevitable. So you're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you, and it's almost like to protect you, God willing, to protect you to not make bigger mistakes. And it's really to your benefit, and it really strengthens the relationship between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you and your creator. So that's the first thing I would do, inshallah, please God, in this Ramadan, is to really ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you. I'm going to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive me for the mistakes that I've made, that I'm aware of and I'm unaware of, God willing. And that just really just keeps me, inshallah, keep all of us on the straight path, God willing. Now, if you look at the word astaghfirullah in Arabic literally translates to I seek forgiveness in God. So that's the translation of astaghfirullah. So if throughout the day you always say astaghfirullah, 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 I seek forgiveness in God, I seek forgiveness in God, you're living a conscious life. You're really aware, first of all, the relationship between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala really increases. Second of all, it humbles you. If it becomes a habit, you saying astaghfirullah, I seek forgiveness in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I seek forgiveness in God, it humbles you. You don't fall into the trap of arrogance, because you're always aware that you're always aware that you could make a mistake, or that you maybe unintentionally make a mistake. There's always that awareness of staying on the straight path, always that awareness. Whereas if you don't seek for forgiveness, it's almost as if you live an unconscious life, and then even without you realizing it, they'll just all stack up, and then you might get in a little bit of a muddle, and life becomes quite difficult. Now there's a in Suratul in the Quran Kareem, in Suratul verse 10, it says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, ask forgiveness from your Lord. Indeed, He is often forgiving. He will send down rain from the sky upon you in abundance, and provide you with wealth and children, and make for you gardens, and make for you rivers. And that's in Surah Nuh. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's so kareem, He's so generous, He's so kind. So He's saying, when you ask for forgiveness, when you say astaghfirullah, when you ask for forgiveness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a really clean heart, and really with an intention of being forgiven, not for instance with the intention of saying, you know what, I'm just going to say astaghfirullah and then tomorrow I'm going to do the same thing again. No, with the intention of, you know what, I've done this, and then God willing, I'm really going to try and stop it. I'm really going to try to not do it again. When you come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with that intention, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not only forgives you, it says here, He provides you with wealth and children, and make for you gardens, and make for you rivers, and indeed He is often forgiving. He will send down rain from the sky upon you in abundance. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send abundance to you, like abundance, God willing. So not only will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive you, He will send down rain and abundance and prosperity. So he'll forgive you, and He'll give you more. He'll forgive you, and He'll give you more. And this is, remember in the episode of gratitude, when there was also a verse in the Quran, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if you express gratitude, He'll give you more. So this is also, so when you express gratitude, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you more. And if you ask for forgiveness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God willing, will forgive you and give you more. See how generous our Creator is. Really, really generous. So astaghfirullah, asking for forgiveness is really good, because like I said, you're conscious, you live a conscious life. You're very aware of your behaviors and your thoughts, God willing, and God willing, it puts you, God willing, on the straight path, God willing. And also, when you ask for forgiveness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you more. He'll keep you away from things, God willing, that do not benefit you, and He will give you more, God willing. I hope you enjoyed this session. I hope, God willing, this Ramadan and till next Ramadan and for the rest of our lives, we make asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness of what we're aware of and what we're not aware of, saying astaghfirullah. I hope it just becomes a habit that we're always used to it. We're always used to expressing gratitude, and we're also always used to saying astaghfirullah. And that way, God willing, will always be God willing, will be and the straight path, God willing, and will also, God willing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us more and more and more and fill our happy lives with happiness and joy. I love you loads. Have a brilliant, beautiful, absolutely amazing day.